Hello, my name is Dudley May. Today I'm gonna show you how to create the most simplest basic DVD using Encore CS6. This is the most basic setup, most basic menu, and how to burn a DVD through Encore. I'm gonna do two versions. I'm gonna do one with a menu, one without. So as you can see on my screen here, we have Encore CS6. This is the first thing you'll see when you open up Encore. So the first thing we want to do is create a new project, and we want to give that project a name. So Encore demo, and I'm going to leave it in the documents, and then I'm going to make sure I set it to DVD. And make sure that the television standard is set to NTSC, not PAL. NTSC is the United States, the American standard. PAL is used in Europe, so we want to set to NTSC. There we go. I'm going to leave this as default, and we'll hit OK. Okay, now we are in Encore. Now, some basics you want to know about Encore. This is the bin right here. This is where all your assets and all your timelines and everything else will be. This is our preview window, which will show our timeline and also show where our menu will be. Then we have our timeline down here. And then this window is the properties windows. And this is very important. This is where all the settings are going to be. This is where you're going to set your end action, your first play, all the settings for your video is going to be in this window. And the way it works is whatever you have selected, it shows the properties for that object. Right now, we don't have anything in here, and we don't have anything selected, so it says disk. So this is a good spot to start. So we're going to change the name of our disk. So I'm going to change this to Encore Demo. And we can add a description if we want. We're not going to do that. And then there's first play. We're going to want to set this later. So right now I'm going to leave it right there. So the first thing we want to do is bring in our videos. In this case, we're just going to do one video. So I'm going to go right click in the bin and do import as timeline. Now you can also do this up here at the top. You can go to timeline, new timeline, or you can press Apple T, as you can see right there. So I always do it, the way I usually do it is import as timeline. And then it'll open up a little finder window. I keep saying window. And I want to go to the desktop here and find a video that we can use. Let's use my old film. Here we go. Open. It's going to import it as a timeline. It takes a minute. Okay, so now we have two assets in our bin. There's our video, and as you can see, when I select that in my bin, it shows the properties for that asset and all the information about it. You know, what frame rate it is, how big it is, what dimensions, everything. If I select the other one, that's our timeline, and it shows all the properties for our timeline. So all the information right there, and then also some settings that we will want to set. Also down here, if you notice that now that we have a timeline in the bin, our timeline shows up at the bottom here. So I can scrub through this and see our movie. There we are, what it's going to look like. Alright, you notice there's a blue bar and a green bar. The green bar is the audio, and the blue bar is video. So if you have a video that's supposed to have audio and video, there should be both there. If there isn't, then something's missing. So make sure that's there. And you can play it. If you hit spacebar on the timeline, you'll start playing, and you should hear the sound as well. There we go. Okay. Now, the next step we want to do is create a new menu. So there are a couple ways we can do this. We're going to right-click in the bin, new, menu, we'll do it. We can also go up to menu and do new menu, or we can also hit Command M and that will do the same thing. That's the hotkey for it. So let's go ahead and do menu. Okay. Alright, it's going to create a blank menu that is 720 by 480. Sometimes it will it'll use a default template. I don't really like them. I don't ever use them. So if it does that, instead of creating a blank one, you should be able to go down to the bottom here and select the blank menu. It doesn't show up in this version, but in some CS6 versions, you'll have a list of different templates. So choose the one that says blank menu or blank menu HD. Either one of those will work fine. Right now we have a nice blank one, so I'm going to continue on. First thing I want to do with this menu, if I select it, our properties windows now shows menu, and it has all the settings for the menu. First thing I want to do is change this from 4:3 to 16:9. Right here it says aspect ratio, and it's 4:3, 16:9. So if I select 16:9, it changes our aspect ratio to 16:9. So that's the first thing. Now I want to create a menu, and I'm going to keep it very basic, very simple, and just use text. So I'm going to hit T, or I can go up here at the top and select this letter T, and that is the text tool. And now this will work just like Photoshop or any text editing document, anything. So I click on anywhere in the window. I keep saying window. Anywhere in the window, and create my text. So I'm going to do Encore demo title. And what I usually do is I'll put the title of the movie. So there's that. And then I'll do our play button. So I'll create text for play. So I do play. And then I can move these around and place them however I want. Make them bigger. So I want a nice big play button so no one gets confused where we're at. There's that. And let's put this right there. Okay. And if you really want to, you can go in here and change in the character tab. You can change the color, change the font. Just like any text editing, it's all right here under characters. But I'm not going to worry about any of that right now. So I go back to the menu, and I want to change this play, which right now is just a text layer, into a button. So make sure you have the direct select tool selected. There are a couple of different ones, but to do this properly, you need to have direct select tool, which is the hotkey is A. And then you go and right click. You can click on it first, so it's highlighted, and then right click or command shift if you only have, or command click if you only have one button if you're on a Mac. And then you want to go down to convert to button. And if you notice, it will change from a blue outline to a green one. That means this is now a button. So now the properties for a button will show up when we have it selected. So if I select this text right here, that doesn't show up because there is no properties for it. So I'm going to select the play button. Now it's our play button. Now we want to link this play button to our timeline. When you push this button in the menu while you have it in the DV player, it's going to play that video on that timeline. And to do that, there's a couple ways you can go about it. You select it. You have the play button selected, so the button properties is showing, and you go down to where it says link, and then right now it says not set. So we want to set this to our timeline, which is the same odds over here. There's a couple ways you can do it. One way is that you can press this little triangle to the side and go down to our timeline and press chapter 1, and it'll set it. Or you can, this little spiral symbol next to it, you can click on it, click and hold, and then drag over to the timeline you want it to link to. And when you do that, it sets it for you. And there it goes. Now it's the same odds and has the title of our timeline. Now that's set. So if I press the button in the menu, it will play this video, this timeline. There we go. Now, the other thing we want to do make sure we do is set the first play. Right now, it probably, if I hit the preview button up here, it's a little DVD disc with a little play button right. If I click on that, first thing it's going to play is the video. Now we don't want to do that, so I'm going to hit stop and exit. What we want it to do is go to the menu first. So to do that, we want to click anywhere out so we're not having anything selected. And so it says properties and disk. And we want to change the first play to, which is right now set to the same odds. The way it works is whatever your first thing you bring into Encore, whatever first asset, first timeline you bring in, it sets that as the first play. It's the default. We want it to be the menu, so I'm going to go ahead and change it. So I can do the triangle and select the menu, or I can use the little spiral tool. I need to look at the actual name of this but right now I'm just going to call it spiral whiplash thingy. And then I'm going to click and drag and bring it over to the blank menu. And I'm going to release, and now it says blank menu default. So if I go back and hit the preview button, it now goes to the menu. And now we can select our play button, and our video starts playing. Going a little chuggy, but that's fine. It's playing. Okay, exit that. So now that's set. Now the other thing we want to make sure to set is the end action. Everything on here has an end action. So it's like menu, it has an end action of stop. So as soon as once it loads the menu, it stops. It just sits there. Now we want to add an end action for our timeline. So if I select the timeline, the property for the timeline shows up. And it says end action not set. Basically what this is when the video gets done playing, it will tell the DVD player what to show next. So instead of just not doing anything, we want it to go back to our menu. So I want to change this to our menu. So I'm going to click on the spiral, go over to our menu, and now it says blank menu. So that's set. So if I go to preview our menu, our DVD, it shows our menu with our play button. I press play, and it plays through the movie. I'm going to go ahead and hit skip to the end, and now it should go back to the menu. There we are. So when people play your DVD, they'll hit play, it'll play through it, and then it'll jump back to the beginning, to the menu. So if they want to play it again, they can. Otherwise, it just stops. Convenient. Okay. So we have our menu, our timeline, and everything looking pretty good. So let's go over to our build tab up here at the left top corner, and look at this is where you actually burn the DVD. Before was just setting up all the information, all the data, to where it goes, what connects to what. Now we're going to actually get to where we actually burn it to a disk. Well, we will come over to the build, and it will say format, and we want to set it to DVD. If you do Blu-ray, it works just the same, but right now we're just focusing on DVD. And then DVD disk, we'll make sure that's selected. We want to check our project first. So I'm going to hit check project. And what this will do is search the entire project and find any loose ends. So if we had missed an end action or forgot to put a first play, any number of things, it will check it. And see if there's anything left unset, it's going to tell us. So I'm going to hit start, and nothing shows up. Now if I had a timeline with nothing on it, or didn't tell it the end action, it would show up right here, and I can select it and go and reset it. But since we set that, it's not here. So, okay. Now, once we've done that, we checked our project, make sure everything's fine. Now we want to go and actually burn our disk. I have a built-in DVD drive, so it shows up right there. If you have an external one and it's not showing up, you want to make sure that the external drive is on and plugged in. And then if it doesn't show up, hit refresh, and it should show up. There we go. Okay. You can select how many copies you want to make. So if I do 2, I could do 2 or 3 or however many you want. And then that. And the rest of it, you don't have to worry about too much. The only time this comes into information right here is useful, the disk information, is if you run out of space on your DVD. And so you can see how much space is taken up, how much more room you have. I'm not going to worry about that. So once you've done that, then you can hit build, and it's going to save the project, and then it's going to ask for a disk, which I have. Okay. Once it asks for a disk, you insert a DVD, and then hit OK, and then it'll detect that it has a blank DVD, and then it will transcode your video, which takes some time, so be sure you allot time for this, and then it will burn the disk. If you're doing multiple copies, it doesn't transcode it multiple times, it only does it once, and it saves all that information, and then it'll burn the disk one after the other. It'll spit out one, ask for the next one, you put it in, hit OK, and keep going. I'm not going to actually go through that, but that's all you have to do. Now, say if you want to make this even simpler, and you do this without a menu, here's how you do that. So I'm going to go back to our project. I'm going to delete our menu. Hitting delete. Okay, if I wanted to do this without a menu, this is a way you can do it. I just imported my video. I just have imported it as a timeline, like I import as timeline. I did that, and it shows up here. I can now go to the disk. Instead of having this first play be the DVD menu, I change it to our timeline, like that. So as soon as I put the disc in, it will play the video. And that's the way you can do it without a menu. Otherwise, it works just the same. You need to make sure your timeline has an end action, which it does not, actually. We need to change. Actually, while we have this not set, I'm going to show you the check project. So if I hit check project right now and hit start, it shows Encore demo, title remote not set, and it also has same odds, end of action not set. So if I select this, I can go to the timeline that's not set, and it says end action, and I want to change this. Oops. Select this again. Change this to same odds chapter. Oh no. We want to make it stop. So as soon as the DVD ends, it's done playing the movie, it will stop. So I changed the end action to stop. There we go. Whereas before I had it go back to the menu. Okay. Also, so we hit start again. It's going to show it. And then it also says title remote not set. So I'll click this, and it says title button. We need to change that to something. So if I want to change that to stop. So if you hit the title button on the remote, it will stop playing the video. Normally you would hit it, go to the menu, but in this case it doesn't. So hit start, make sure there's nothing else. All right, now it's clear. We've set our end action for our timeline, and we've set our first play, which is the video. So if I hit preview, it will play the video, and if I hit the skip to the end, it will stop playing, so nothing else is doing. So you can exit. And then again, you go back to build to burn the disk. You do DVD disk, you hit build, and it's going to ask for a disk. And you put in a disk, it will transcode, burn it, and you're done. And that is the most basic, simplest DVD menu you could make and burn a disk in Encore.